Dave Hansen. We're going to have Bill Varney and the new director from CCA, Chris, joining us today. Hopefully they both jump in here pretty soon. We're hoping. But while we wait for those two boys to get here, I want to thank you all for everything you do for us at Your Saltwater Guide. And I want to thank Okuma for being our sponsor every Wednesday. Okuma has been part of the show for a very long time. And I want to thank you very, very much, everybody over at Okuma. And we have a discount coming to you this month for the new Komodo reels. We're pretty excited to be showing you that. We'll show you a little sizzle reel a little bit later in the show, and you're going to have an opportunity to save 20% on the Komodo line of reels at Okuma. So check out okumafishingusa.com for all the great products over there, and we'll show you a little sizzle reel in a little bit. But hey, we got Chris joining us here. Welcome, Chris. Congratulations on your new appointment, man.
Hey, thanks, Dave. I appreciate it. Hello, everyone. Good to be back on with you, man.
Thank you very much. And I'm very happy to have you, buddy. And I'm happy that you got the job. And I know you're going to do a great job because you've been there for a long time with Wayne, watching what Wayne was doing. So we all look forward to you helping us out and taking us to the next level. Thanks, buddy.
Yeah, Dave, I appreciate that. Yeah, it's been 7 years since I joined the team at CCA, and it feels like it's 20, but it's been super, super fun.
It is amazing all the different things that are going on behind the scenes as they're trying to close more and more of the fishery, isn't it?
Yeah, it seems like it never ends. Every year has a different, I guess, challenge, I'll say. And, there's always legislation wanting to take something more from us and this and that. And then you add environmental impact stuff, and you add something as simple as a Prop 65 issue and all that. So all of the above is pretty much what we have to be prepared for pretty much every year. Not to mention I think last year and the year prior, there was in the neighborhood of about 2,500 bills introduced in the California legislature alone, that each one of those have to be basically combed with a fine-tooth comb, making sure that it doesn't really affect us as anglers. So there's no lack of work over here, man.
That's for sure. Bill Varney, welcome. Glad you
Hello. Hi, Chris.
Bill, how are you, man? It's been a while.
Good to see you.
Likewise, my friend.
Thank you.
Yeah, so we got a lot of stuff coming down the line, but I wanted you to join Bill and I today on our show on Wednesdays, introduce you to all of our followers and let them know that there's a new sheriff in town over at CCA. It should keep on moving along smoothly, but Chris is the man now, taking over for the great Wayne, and we can't thank Wayne enough for everything Wayne did for all of us. And I know you and Bill have probably seen a lot of stuff behind the scenes that most of us haven't seen. So that's why it's cool to have you on here with Bill today. And we're talking about CCA has a fundraiser coming up. I'm going to be there. Bill will probably be there. I'm putting Bill on the spot. I don't know if he's going to make it in May, but it's the Anthony Shea Lifetime Conservation Award. And it's kind of near and dear to my heart. My father got it the second year that it was available. And then Bill Shedd got it the next year. It's kind of a good tradition, a great way to raise money. Can you talk about that for a minute, Chris?
Absolutely. And you kind of mentioned it too, but I also wanted to give a big shout out to your pops, man. I mean, he meant a lot to me, a lot to CCA, and yeah, we dearly miss him for sure. And you're absolutely right. He got it the second year that we were offering that award, and I swear I still remember that night vividly. And it was exactly, thanks, Bill. Yeah, he's one of our award winners. And I still remember that day to this day. And the room was packed, standing room only for one of the best men that I ever knew, and the best man you probably know. So this event's super, super special to us. May 1st, it's at the Grand in Long Beach. If you guys came over last year, it's at the same venue, same spot, just different room. But ultimately, it's our biggest fundraiser of the year for CCA California. And I can't emphasize enough, Dave, that every single dime that gets raised for California stays in California, especially on that night. Every single dime stays in California, basically goes to our resources to help represent you guys as saltwater anglers. So I want to make that point very, very clear. But ultimately, like last year, Dave, you were super, super helpful in filling at least one table, maybe a couple. But ultimately, we're trying to do that again. We've got a table, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, Dave, but I think we have a QR code somewhere that some people can scan and basically go and sit at your saltwater guide's table. It's definitely a hoot being at the front of the table and looking back constantly. It was definitely a party back there for sure. So May 1st, 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. We're really looking forward to it. We really need a lot of participation. This year we've got big goals and big fundraising goals and all that. And it's fun. It's turned into a really great industry-wide event to where a lot of people that you may or may not know affiliated with this brand or that brand or whatnot, but it's really the who's who of our industry that always consistently attends. And definitely the team at Okuma is going to be there in full force for sure.
Oh, absolutely. And we have a great time coming up there to the fundraiser, because what we're doing, gang, is we're trying to save fishing. And Bill and I talk about this every Wednesday. What it takes, unfortunately, gang, we have to talk about it. It takes money. It takes money to fight all these entities that are out there against us, and they are 100% against us. So when you think, gosh, to spend $175 for dinner for the night, forget about that. That's not what it's about. It's about putting money back into the system that's going to help us to fish. And I know a lot of people are like, things are tough right now. I don't know if I can afford $175. Well, think about it like this. If we don't have the ability to fish, it's not going to matter, gang, if you got $175 for dinner, because you're not going to be able to take your grandkids fishing. You're not going to be able to go fishing on the beach with Bill. They're not just looking at, here's something that's really sad that I think is lost in this whole thing. And I was kind of disappointed yesterday in the second half of our show. I think what everybody doesn't understand, let's replace the word sand bass for fishing from now until the 13th. They are on a mission, and Bill and I talk about it all the time, Chris. They're on a mission to stop us from fishing. This is a control thing. This has nothing to do with populations of fish in the ocean. Michael Folks talked about it 100 times yesterday where we were trying to slow down what was being said on the show. You cannot affect the population of the ocean with a piece of line, a piece of string, and a hook. You just can't, gang. Bill Varney talks about it all the time. Urban runoff and the California sea lion, absolutely. That is devastating to fish populations. But they don't want to talk about that. CCA can't do anything about changing the runoff going into the ocean, and no one can touch the most valuable animal on the planet Earth, the sea lion. So what we can do, though, is we can all get involved, and we can be involved with ccacalifornia.org, because it's the only organization out there that is doing anything for us, the recreational fishermen. Plus, if we can get the commercial fishermen involved and help us, and we help them, then we're all going to win, because they're under the same amount of scrutiny on a daily basis. Right now, they're thinking about taking away their Dungeness crab up in Northern California, Oregon, and Washington because of the whales, which you look at their gear, they've had maybe 5 entanglements in my lifetime with crab gear for the hundreds of thousands of whales that travel up and down the coast. And it's such talking out of their butt, because back east, we're killing whales full speed all day, every day for green energy. And we can't fish for Dungeness crab out. It's just crazy. And
another one today, by the way.
Like, yeah, I know. Jeanette posted that.
Mm-hmm.
But like Chris is saying, gang, you have no idea. And I really don't have any idea. Bill does, because he sat in the rooms with you, Chris, and you guys can only kind of tell me what they're proposing on a daily basis. And my sister calls me all the time. But we all need to get involved, gang, and CCA I want you guys to understand you're going to get to come and have dinner with Chris and Bill, and then my knucklehead I'll be there. And a lot of people, for some reason, they gravitate to sit at my table. I don't know why, but we'll have a good group of people like we do every year, and we'll have lots of cool stuff. If you come to the dinner, gang, the auction is pretty exciting. Todd Manser runs the auction. It's fun, a lot of laughing, a lot of fun, a lot of money raised during the auction. If anybody, here's what I want to put out there, Chris. We didn't talk about this, but we have a giant audience. We have a ton of people watching right now. We'll probably have 30,000 people watch the show today. Gang, if you have anything at all, if you have carpet, if you have a roof, if you have any company at all, plumbing, whatever, car company, bug spray, whatever you have, if you can donate it, every single person that's going to be at this dinner has a car, has a home, has a fishing rod. Whatever you can donate to help us raise money to save fishing in California, there's not one thing Chris is going to say, no, we don't need that. Yes, we need everything, right, Chris?
Yeah. It makes me feel a certain way when you say that like that. But yeah, it absolutely. It's as a 501c3 organization, we need help, guys. We need help, whether it's you joining your local chapter, whether it's just simply writing a check from your business, or even enrolling in our monthly donation program. I mean, we do $5, $10, $20 a month and all that. And that's, nowadays it's almost cheaper than a cup of coffee, but ultimately everything helps. And we really need more and more resources every single year, as really this climate in California becomes way more demanding than what we can handle. But ultimately, I do want to comment, people like Bill, people like your sister Donna, and others on our state board, it's an absolute cloaks every single day. Bill, I know you and I spent years together doing marketing, and that was so helpful. That was so helpful. And I really do cherish that. And your sister, Dave, is she's a force to be reckoned with, man. She's awesome. And luckily we've got that big Fish and Game Commission meeting next week regarding sand bass, item number 23 on the 13th. I know there's a multitude of ways for people to join that meeting and to also really just kind of, make their voice be heard. If they haven't done so already with our campaign from last week. So really looking forward to events like the dinner, because, we can talk advocacy every day and twice on Sunday, but, this is the reason why we do it, is in order for basically you guys out there to go keep enjoying the resources, keep enjoying to go fishing every single day. And ultimately, you touched on it earlier, Dave, where we're doing it for our grandkids. We're doing it for my son, who's 18 months and all that. So he's able to go out fishing just like I did as a kid and all that, because ultimately at the rate that we're going, if a group like CCA California didn't exist, it'd all be gone. It really would be gone. We have a lot of great partners out there in the coalition that work their butts off to help us out, and we help them out and everything. But really it kind of starts at the beginning, which is we need funding. We need funding and more resources. The more resources we have, whether it's financials or volunteers or whatever, the more we can absolutely do. A couple of years ago, I mean, I know we've talked about it quite a bit here on the podcast, but a couple of years ago, that 365-day license went into effect. Things like that can happen. We can start going on the offensive rather than always playing on defense. But we can't do it without your help. So going to the Anthony Shea dinner on May 1st, attending any of our events coming up here in 2025, or simply just donating on a monthly basis and all that, everything helps. And we can't do it without each and every one of you out there.
And Vincent, thank you very much. Those marlin lures will definitely get bid on if you can donate. Anybody out there that can donate. And Matt Ryan, CCA will have a booth at the PCS show like they do every year. And Chris will talk about that in a minute. But Bill Varney, you've been there since the day one with CCA. Can you and Chris kind of talk about what it's been like to raise the funds? Because I know we talked about it, you and I, before. We're at a point now where we got to beg because we need help, right, Bill?
Exactly. Well, if we go way back, it was probably back when I had hair. Wayne invited me to a tour of Hub's Research Center. I didn't know Wayne. This was quite a while ago, maybe 12 years ago, 10 years ago. And he invited me. And then after we were done with our tour, we sat down and he asked me if I would come to work for him and help him with doing everything. So that's really how it all got started. And I think we had like 116 Facebook followers back in those days. And as time went on, and then Chris came along and all that, we grew dramatically. But the thing is about CCA and our organization is that we have thousands of dollars, maybe hundreds of thousands of dollars. But the NGOs that we compete against, because we're an NGO, so the ones we compete against, they have millions of dollars, and some have hundreds of millions of dollars. So when you have all of this money, they can have attorneys, they can have marketing efforts, they can have advertising money. We spend lots of money. I remember CCA, and you remember too, Chris, I don't know what it was last year, but a couple of years ago, we spent 18 million of our dollars on habitat restoration, most of which was in the South and the East Coast. We didn't take that $18 million and invested in attorneys, advertising, all the stuff that they do. So we need money. We need a lot of money in order for us to fight against them. And there's a lot of ways you can participate and help us. One of our favorite ways for Chris and I is there is a way that you can donate on a monthly basis to CCA. So I do it every single month. You can do $5, $10, $20. It automatically takes it out of your PayPal account, your, I think, checking account, credit card, a bunch of different ways. So it's totally automated. You don't need to think about it. I mean, seriously, Chris, the other day, this buddy emailed to me his receipt from Carl's Jr. Okay, you ready for this? He got a cheeseburger, chicken sandwich, and large fries, $29. I mean, a few more bucks, you're a member for a year with CCA. You get an internationally recognized magazine, the Tide magazine, of some of the greatest fishing across our whole country. So I don't see how everybody isn't joined, number one. And then number two, please go to our site, CCA. California.org, and there you can donate. It's really easy to set up on a monthly basis right to CCA, and all those funds that come in to California go right to Chris for him to administer to Save Fishing for California.
Yeah, and to add on top of that, Bill, can you believe it? This will be our 10th year of CCA California. I feel like it's been, like crazy, but ultimately it's our 10-year anniversary this year. We're going to, start to think about doing something to celebrate and all that. But ultimately, with how effective we've been in the last 10 years, we've got quite a bit of accomplishments under our belt, which is fantastic on the limited resources that we have. Just imagine, like Bill was saying, if we did have the extreme budgets as some of these other groups and all that stuff, how much more we can actually start getting done. And like I said, going on the offensive rather than always playing on defense, how many lobbyists can we get both in Sacramento and in DC and all that? So really we're just, we're asking for people to come to our events. We're asking people to donate monthly. And really that's a fantastic way to contribute. If you don't even have time, if you do have time and are newly retired or whatever, and you want to contribute, we've got local chapters spread throughout Southern and Central California as well. So plenty of ways to really get involved. If by any means you have any questions at all about CCA, what we do, how to really get involved with your situation, all that stuff, all you have to do is go to our website, ccacalifornia.org, hit the contact us button. It goes straight to my email. And basically, let's have a conversation. Let's have a conversation on how you personally can involve yourself with CCA and how you can actually make a difference. Because really, that's the hardest step to really overcome, is just reaching out. So that's many different opportunities to get involved with CCA California.
Yeah,
Real quick, Bill, hold on. Real
Okay.
quick, Matt Ryan, one of your members, Bill, he's standing in line at Disneyland right now, and the line to get on the ride's 80 minutes. Can you?
I know when I saw his post that when Matt posted that he was in line, I was going to say to you that between the time that Matt starts the line and he gets on the ride, he'll be able to watch our entire show.
Crazy, but go ahead, say what you were going to say. I just wanted to call Matt out.
Yeah, well, what I was going to say, and Chris would agree with this, everybody would agree with this, is that if we had enough money, this is what would happen. The whole paradigm would change. When they came out like this and they said, oh, we're going to make these adjustments to sand bass and we might go to zero, we might have closures, blah, blah, blah. We would have enough money to go to court and get an injunction to stop the decision until in court they brought in the science and it was allowed to be reviewed. So that's why it's so important is that when there's the state, for example, is involved in this, these NGOs are involved. If we were to go and say we want to do something legally, take the state, for example, they have dozens of attorneys. They have an attorney general. So we're fighting against that. You can't have just a little money to be successful at that. You have to have a lot of money to be successful. So all of that feeds back into people making donations.
Yeah, and really to kind of add something else, Bill, is we're really all about, and unfortunately sand bass is one of those victims, as is rockfish as well. We're really pushing all of these agencies to really get what we're calling truthful science, and better data collection, because really right now we're suffering because of it, because of the lack of funding on their end, not even our end, but on their end, to go out and do an actual stock assessment on certain species. The sand bass deal, I don't, to my knowledge, there is no stock assessment. They don't know how big the stock is and the mass is. But they're trying to act because of a survey that they did to where, oh my God, sand bass, or there's no sand bass off of Southern California or Huntington Beach or wherever they did it. But we all know they're all down south of the border enjoying a margarita and having their sombreros down in Mexico and Baja. So ultimately, it is a migratory species. So things like that, pointing at things out like that, that's exactly what CCA does. There's a whole variety of points that I can make about sand bass as to why there should be no zero take in the summer and everything. But, I'm sure you guys have already talked about it before, but ultimately, we're trying to push all these agencies to get better methods of collecting data, because really that's what we want. That's what we want. And sand bass, like I said, is falling victim to just that, as is the quillback and the coppers and all that stuff that we were dealing with last year.
Yeah, hold on one second. I just want to show everybody, Okuma came out with a new QR code for us. We're going to get to save 20% on the Komodo series reels. And I'm going to show you guys this little sizzle reel real quick and then tell you about the reel real fast. And then we'll go right back to what we were talking about, because what Chris and Bill are talking about is super important to me, as you all know. So, gang, that's the Komodo series reels. It's called the Komodo SS. SS stands for stainless steel. The Komodo SS is built around a heavy-duty stainless steel main gear, pinion gear, drive shaft, and spool shaft to deliver an internal foundation of unrelenting strength and corrosion resistance. The Komodo SS reel is one of my very most favorite reels. The level wind function on that works phenomenal when you're fishing plastics and rubber lures and any type of artificial lures. It works epically. You'll see a million videos that I've made with me fishing with the Komodo series reels. You will not be disappointed when you order this reel. And right now, I got the QR code going up on the screen, and that's going to save you 20%. That's unheard of. No one else is offering you 20% off on this reel, and that's direct from Okuma. Go to okumafishing.com and you put in the code YSGKOMODO20, and you're going to save 20%, or you can use the QR code that's up on the screen right now. An incredible series of reels. Check it out at OkumaFishingUSA.com. All right, Chris, Bill, we're back. Let's finish our discussion about, and there's people that are on here right now that are asking, how can they get more involved? How can they get you products? How can they do all that? And like Chris said, you go to the QR code. I'll throw it back up on the screen for CCA. And you can also send Chris an email. And if you're having a problem, you know me, my phone number is on every bathroom wall in America. I'll put it out there. You can call me personally. We'll get a hold of Chris. Don't think for 1 second we don't need whatever you have. Whatever donation we can get, we're going to take it. Every penny matters, gang. It's all about being able to take our grandkids fishing. The sand bass thing, near and dear to my heart, but we need to replace the word sand bass. I don't care. The industry is going to be mad at me right now. Oh, well. The way you guys have been doing it for all these years, it doesn't work. I'm sorry. It does not work. Doing it the way you've been doing it, scared to death of the 1/10 of 1% of the population of the United States of America. I'm done with that. And the president of the United States is done with it. And you guys need to be done with it. This is about America. This is about the people. It's time to get off your lazy butts and get out there. Let's make this Zoom call the most incredible thing. Don't listen to what the guy said yesterday about, oh, I don't want you to be on there because then I won't be able to talk. We don't want you to talk anyway. We want to talk. We're tired of this. We're over this. We're past the point of, and I was talking to Chris, Bill, before we went live. I'm sorry, I'm fired up. I was talking to Chris before. We can all, anybody that's up in the Sacramento, San Francisco area, you can go to the meeting. Let's go. If you're up there in that zone, let's go. Let's go. Let's all show up. I don't care. The way that we've attacked this thing for the last 20 years, Bill, it does not work. It does not work. Sucking your thumb and letting the process be the process doesn't work, gang. I'm over it. I'm not going to listen to the rhetoric and the crap from these old timers that are running the show anymore. Sorry, we're done with you. If you would have told me a guy with 48 convictions was going to be the president of the United States, I would have said no way. But he went on Joe Rogan and he went on Theo Von's show, and now he's the president of the United States, gang. The way you guys have been doing it, it doesn't work. Playing the defense doesn't work. And I don't care. If you don't like me because I'm telling the truth, well, that's because you don't like truth. The way we've been doing it doesn't work. It's time for the U.S. citizens to get involved in this process. You can't give Chris $20 and tell Chris to go take care of it for you. I'm sorry, Chris, to put this out there like that, but gang, we played the game with the rockfish. We were told to start releasing them before they closed it, and this will help. What did it help? Nothing. We lost them. Now we're allowed 2, gang. And now we're willing to lay down and give them another salmon. They already took 5. They already took 5, and you're going to say, oh, well, we'll just give them one more. They don't want one. They want them all. They want them all. I'm sorry, but I'm pissed, Bill. I'm pissed.
Well, you know, once, like somebody mentioned on here, don't have to mention who it is, keep doing the same thing over and over again. That's the definition of insanity, as nothing works, you know. So you've got to try new things. But the thing, I think that a lot of problems that some of the NGOs and organizations certainly supporting fishing have missed and are not prepared for is that technology has changed so much. Like you look at this presidential election we just had, and a lot of people, the majority of people, were not influenced by the local network, the local channels or the network channels or television, but were influenced by text messages, phone calls, videos, podcasts, you name it. And that is part of the change we should make, because I think we can, at a much lower cost, get many more people involved. And then the other thing is we need two things. We need to get a large number of people involved so that they can be the quote unquote protesters or attendees. And then we need to get lots of money. And we're not going to have both of those things unless everybody out there comes forward and says, I'm going to sign up for CCA. And if I have the ability, I'm going to volunteer, and I'm going to do my best to donate money or buy raffle tickets or whatever you can do over time to help the association raise funds to go after these people with the right tools. You know, it's like we're a farmer and our neighbor's a farmer. Okay, he's got the John Deere tractor, he's got the combine, he's got drones to look at his acreage, and we've got a shovel and a rake over here. So we have really got to get ourselves in the modern age.
It's all about social media, whether you want to believe it or not, gang. I'm just putting it out there. The way we've been doing it, for me, I haven't seen it work. Maybe I'm not seeing the whole thing because I'm just out there fishing every day and I got 4,000 members out there fishing every day. But every time I turn around, they take some more. And I can't imagine saying, I don't know where this comes from, that we're willing to give them something to make them slow down. That's not going to slow them down. That's going to show you that we're weak and we're ready to surrender and give you more. I'm sorry, it doesn't work. And be mad at me all you want. Don't be mad at the person that's doing it to you, the groups that are doing it. Get mad at Captain Dave. That's fine. But here's what I would like. And I talked to a lot of my influencer buddies this morning. I've been on the phone all morning talking to people that have 3, 4, 5 million followers. We're all going to get involved. We're going to be making that Zoom call. We're going to be sending as many people as we can to Sacramento. We're going to try to do something. The people, I think we're tired of it. Maybe you're not. Maybe you like the wokeness in California. Maybe you're into that. Well, then you're watching the wrong podcast, and that happens sometimes. But I think most of us are tired of it, Bill.
So
we're absolutely tired, of course, Chris. We want to move forward. And if I just add this before you speak there, Chris, you know, CCA has worked tirelessly to get the result. Even though the results are not what we would ultimately want, they have had some results. And if it wasn't for CCA and what they've done to this point, there would be 0 bluefin tuna instead of 1. There would be 0 grunion instead of 30, and so on and so forth. So even though we were able with our small group to slow down the process and get some minor victories, or less of a loss maybe is the way to look at it, now we really need the horsepower to move forward and take control here. And really the secret to success here, everybody wonders, like, what do we need to do to be successful? To be ultimately successful, what we need to do is we need to elect somebody as the governor of California who looks at fishing as a positive. That person would then go and they would disband the Fish and Game Commission. They would make the Fish and Game Commission, who is not only a deliberative body, but a body that gives advice on other things. They would make it an elected body where we could elect people that we could see what their platform is, what their knowledge is, what their background is. And then we could have a board that was well balanced, that gave us an opinion based on a third party perspective rather than the governor's perspective. So the secret to success, hiring a new governor, having them dissolve the board and kick off those current members, re-electing members. So they're elected members to the board that have terms. So if there's somebody on the board that us as anglers or the common voter doesn't like, they have the ability of moving that person off the board instead of having unelected bureaucrats as we've heard day after day on the news that we've got up in Washington, D.C., making decisions on things against 90% of the citizens' goals. So that's what we need to be a success.
Yeah, well, just a couple things to add on top of that, Bill. I mean, when in the 10 years that we've been around, we have been fairly successful at kind of like what you said, slowing down the process and really not being railroaded in any way, shape, or form. CCA California is actually respected and also being looked at as the voice of the anglers, which is a great thing. I couldn't say the same thing about maybe 5 to 10 years ago, because they wouldn't even talk to us. So that's one thing. Secondly, if you do, I just want to add on, if you do plan on participating in in next week's Zoom call or in person with the Sandvast, just do me a favor, be respectful, short, concise, to the point. And really, I mean, when you think about it, in most cases, especially in California, we often fight emotion with logic. And that doesn't really happen, or that doesn't really work all that well sometimes. So really, if you think about it, this is our lives. Fishing is our lives. I know it's your life, Bill and Dave, and it's many, many other people's lives as well. And that includes taking their kids out fishing. That includes having great memories I have great memories with my grandfather who introduced me to fishing, and with my dad and my other grandfather and all that. And really, all of that could very easily be wiped away in California, all because someone doesn't like what we do or thinks that we have an effect on the resources, which we really don't have as recreational anglers. So ultimately, if you give them a little taste of their own medicine, but like I said, be respectful, be concise, to the point, and all that. And if there is any point in time where someone is seriously contemplating going up or even joining on Zoom and they need help with what they're saying or whatnot, we do have resources there. You can always reach out to us via our website. Love to, we had a whole bunch of people reach out to us during our campaign last week or the week prior when we were sending in letters to the Fish and Game Commission. And ultimately, we had a lot of great letters from anglers, and they consisted of stories just like all your guys and my story too, about how they've been doing this forever and they've been doing this as a kid and have really great, fond memories. So ultimately, there's a way to do things. Let's all kind of tug on the same rope. I know if we are sporadic and do this and do that and all that, we just kind of look unorganized, but really the organization is CCA, to have an organized, one solid voice, but then also our strength is in numbers, right? Our membership, which I haven't talked about, it's $40 for the year, $40. That's it. We have a great show package this year at the PCS show and all the other shows as well. For $100, you get your membership to CCA. You get entry into our exciting star tournament, which we haven't talked about yet. And then also a $50 tackle pack as well to go with it. So you're looking at almost $150 in value for $100. Take advantage of it. You can pre-register online for it at ccacalifornia.org, or just stop by our booth at any of the upcoming shows, and we'll definitely hook you up for sure. But really, there's a whole bunch of different avenues and ways for even yourself sitting at home on the couch and just watching this podcast. There's a way for you to participate and to help us out.
Yeah, and I talk about it every day, Chris. Never, ever do I want anybody being on the Zoom call or going to Sacramento and not being polite and not being cool. We talk about it every day. If you're so emotional that you can't hold it together, write down what you're going to say, read what you wrote, and then get off. Because we're not going to do anything by yelling and screaming. Nothing's going to be accomplished. We're going to look like a bunch of potato heads out there, and that's not the look we want. And Bill and I talk about it every day on Wednesdays about how to conduct yourself in these Zoom meetings, or if you do get a chance to go to Sacramento, you get to go up there and you get to say what you're going to say, write it on a piece of paper, because this is a very emotional thing for all of us, because we don't want to be on a planet where we can't take our grandkids fishing. Chris doesn't want to live on a planet where his little boy is 18 months old. And literally, it could go away before his kid's old enough to come out on the boat with daddy. So be concise, like Chris said. I don't want anybody going in there yelling and screaming. I don't want it to look like what's going on in San Diego and LA right now. That's not what I'm talking about. But it's time for us as fishermen to be involved. You can't give Chris $40 and then suck your thumb on the sidelines and then be sad when it all goes away. And you're like, well, I gave him $40. How come he didn't fix it? Okay, it's time for us to all get involved. We can do this. Bill, I believe in my heart, if we all show, if there's 30,000 people on that Zoom call, they're going to pay attention.
Mm-hmm.
If there's
Absolutely.
10 or 5 like there normally is, they don't care. They're like, whatever, this is easy. Get the sandbags, take them. Look at nobody showing up. You know, I'm sorry. I think CCA does a hell of a job. Don't get me wrong. I support them 100%. We talk about it. I show the QR code every week. I take my time out of my busy days and go to all the events I can. I'm 100% behind CCA, but I'm also at the point where I believe the power's in the masses. And if we show support for this, instead of leaving it up to someone else, leaving it up to someone else is what I'm saying doesn't work. It hasn't worked the way that we want it to work. They just keep taking and taking and taking. They want more of the kelp beds now. They want more of the California coastline. They want more and more and more and more. And I don't know. So let's say we all show up and it doesn't work. What are we out?
Right. At least we tried. Absolutely.
That's all.
And Dave, here's something to think about. I think for everybody to think about, because this is really quite interesting. So if you have a business, you're always looking to have more customers in the future than you had in the past, right? You start out at the beginning as a mechanic, you have one person whose car you work on, not going to make a living off that, but in 10 years, you got 1,000 people bringing their cars to you. So, for example, I asked Justin, hey, will you take me out lobster fishing in November? And he said, well, give me a call in January. He's so busy. All his spots are filled up and all that. So let's look at the licenses for California's fishing licenses. So since 2020, each year, even with this change in the yearly fishing license, the number of sold licenses has gone down. Last year was the first year in almost a decade that the Department of Fish and Life sold less than 1 million licenses. Around 2010 to 2012, they were at their peak at 1,750,000 fishing licenses. Now they're about 962,000. That's almost cut in half. The question is, are they doing such a good job out there? Is that why nobody's buying a license? Because if they were making fishing open, there'd be that many more people getting licenses. Or is their goal to eliminate fishing and get the number of paid for licenses way, way down, maybe a third of what it was at its historical high? Think about that. Who would have a business where they would say, we have half the revenue we used to, we're doing a great job?
I don't know. It's pretty mind-boggling. Don Brockman and I talked about it yesterday. They don't understand. The more of us that quit fishing, the harder it's going to be to pay all these fish and wildlife commissioners' salaries.
Impossible at this point.
I just don't get it. I don't get it, but I'm so happy that Chris is in there and he's doing everything he can do. And I want you all to understand. I'm not saying that Chris isn't doing a good job. I'm not saying CCA is not doing a good job. I'm not saying the other entities out there aren't doing a good job, but it sure would be better if we all got involved. So, Chris, something I learned last year when I wandered around the ICAST show with Wayne, we went by the CCA booth, CCA Texas. Oh my gosh, I could live in that booth. That booth is massive. The amount of supporters for CCA in Texas is mind-boggling. We don't have, guys, you're not supporting CCA out here on the West Coast. It'll blow your mind when you go to Texas and see what's going on. And then you go over to the Florida CCA booth, and it's like way bigger than the Texas booth. Those guys embrace CCA like crazy out there. They understood the power. We need to be involved, gang. We got to get involved like the other states. Texas and Florida were up against that redfish closure. It was a huge thing. CCA got involved and they all jumped in and they support CCA, and there's so many lifetime members. It's so weird when you go back to Southern California and you go by the CCA booth here and it's a table, and you go to Florida and it's a house, it's a building, it's a 2-story building, 100 by 100 carpet. The carpet's 100 feet by 100 feet with a house in the middle of it. And there's hundreds of people in the booth. We can do that here on the West Coast. We have the people, but
absolutely, Dave. And we will get there. We will get there at one point for sure. And just to give you a point of reference, Texas alone, I believe, is north of about 30,000 members just in Texas alone. It's unbelievable the amount of support that they get. And like I said, we will get there. We will get there for sure. It just takes time. It takes time. Those guys have been around for almost 50 years, to be honest. So we will get there for sure. I will say just one comment. Our booth has foam padding, not carpet, but foam padding. So you can come and relax your feet a little bit, but you know, and you had brought up lifetime membership. We do have a lifetime member promotion going on right now throughout the show season. You sign up for life membership starts at $1,000, gang. $1,000. You're going to automatically get not only our show package for this year, you're getting a Blackstone grill package with that. The retail on that alone is $500 back. So all for a great cause. That's available right now on our website. It will be available at PCS and all the other shows as well. But we're blowing it out of the water for our lifetime members this year.
And then you got another thing. You just picked up the boat right before the last trade show that just went off. The Star Tournament, Bill.
Yeah,
it's going. It's full going. And this year, Chris and I have already talked about this. We're going to start announcing the winners, the monthly winners on the show on here. So the 800,000 followers we have will start to see how exciting this is. The thing about the Star Tournament, every single person can be involved. It has nothing to do with going and catching a 200-pound bluefin. It's about the number of entries you get to put in the box. And then Chris or Tony pulls that name out of the box every month, and you win the preliminary prize. And then you go on till the end for the grand prize. Can you talk about that for a few minutes, Chris?
Absolutely. So basically our Star Tournament, we had a great turnout last year, and big shout out to Chris Wheaton, our tournament chair last year, who did a fantastic job at getting us going here. And ultimately, we brought it back for 2025. It was such a great success for all of us. I kid you not, Dave and Bill, the person who won the boat last year, we gave away a brand new 18-foot center console Parker from West Coast Marine and Yamaha. Person who won the boat last year had 2 entries the entire year. Just 2.
Oh my gosh.
That's it. The guy who was right behind him won a trip to Alaska. I kid you not. He only had 1 entry for the year.
Wow.
So it literally is anybody's game. And then we also had guys on the bass sector that submitted damn near 100 times as well. And they still got in on the grand prizes as well. So really anyone has a chance to win the boat or any of our 9 fabulous grand prizes. And like you had mentioned, we do have weekly prizes. There's 14 weeks in our tournament. We have 14 weekly prize winners as well. So there's a really good shot at winning something in this tournament. And the beauty about it is, guys, it's a $40 entry fee. That's it. $40 gets you in the tournament if you're a current CCA member. If you're not, it's $80. But ultimately, it's a slam dunk. If you're walking away with a damn near $60,000 prize at the end of it. So that's going on right now. Registration has started. You can register for the Star Tournament at our shows via our show package or just by itself. or you can just go online, ccacalifornia.org /star, and you can register online as well. And yeah, it's really, really fun. It was fantastic getting the opportunity to really hand some really cool prizes from great sponsors all throughout last year, but then also at the grand prize award ceremony as well. So this year we're blowing it out. We're giving away, when you combined everything, we're giving away somewhere north of about $100,000 in prizes this year in our star tournament. So all great things. And last but not least, we do have a youth division. Anyone from between the ages of 13 and 17 can participate. All you have to do is become a youth member of CCA for $10, and you get a free entry into the star tournament for our youth division. And this year, we're giving away 3 separate $5,000 scholarships this year, along with prize packs. So really, really good things are coming out of the star tournament. We're giving back to the youth. And by the way, that those scholarships don't necessarily have to be going to an accredited college or university. They can be used for trade schools and vocational schools and all that stuff. So really, I mean, it's really excited, and there's really no excuse not to enter this year.
Now, Chris, the contest, the star tournament, runs from Memorial Day to Labor Day. What are some of the changes that you guys made for this year about what kind of fish and the area to fish? And give us an update on that stuff too.
Yeah, thanks, Bill. So basically, even Dave Hansen is eligible to win a prize because we've extended the boundaries between the California-Oregon border all the way down to the tip of Baja. So anywhere in between that, you're eligible to win something and to submit fish for that. So we've added the boundary change this year. We've also added spear fishermen. Spear fishermen are now eligible for the star tournament as well. And the way that it works, ultimately, if it's not obvious already, it's a raffle system, guys. So basically, one qualifying length fish equals one entry into a grand drawing at the end of the summer after the tournament. So a calico bass that's north of 18 inches counts just as much as a 200-pound bluefin, and anything in between. New species this year include, we added lingcod, we added striped bass, and we also added salmon this year as part of our star tournament. In addition to the saltwater bass, so calico, sand bass, and spotted bay bass, yellowtail, halibut, white sea bass, and tuna as well. So plenty of opportunity to go around. I mentioned the species, the scholarships, and the boundary changes, and the addition of spear fishermen to this tournament. So we've got great prizes. I'm so excited. I really am. We've been working on this for 6 months, and we finally get to release what we've been working so hard for. But all this information is on our website, ccacalifornia.org/star, and all that can be done via our website.
Yeah, and then hopefully, as this thing evolves and starts to move forward, we can get Bill Varney and all of his people involved and start doing surf perch and barred surf perch and corvina and all that. This is always constantly evolving and growing as it goes. And as things start to happen, the 2 things that we talked about, Bill and I, last year, and we're going to talk about it all the way, every show moving up to when we start giving away the prizes. Every one of you should have one of those rulers in your tackle box or in your back pocket. They roll up. They're super easy. Go to the tackle stores if you don't have one and ask them, I need that ruler. On the ruler, it has the QR code. It shows you how to enter your fish. It's very, very simple. You don't have to take the fish. You can take a picture of it on the ruler, throw it right back in the water, and do your conservation, woke fishing, whatever you want to call it, however you like to call it. Me personally, if it's big enough to take, I'm taking it. But I know there's a lot of you that feel different about it. But there's no reason to not have that. And if you go on a sport boat, have your ruler with you, but ask the sport boat captain or the deckhand, where's your measuring device? As you pull that out on the deck, gang, everybody's going to go, what is that, Bill? And you're going to go, oh, this is for the star tournament. I just caught a legal sand bass and I'm going to put it in the tournament. And they're like, what? How do you get that? And You could be literally selling them on the sport boats, and you should. Everybody that's in the industry, every tackle store, every sport boat operator should be
Landing.
involved in this thing.
Yeah.
110%. And if they're not, it's up to us. Here we are, right back to what I was talking about 20 minutes ago. We the people, gang. It's up to us. Chris, Bill can only do what they can do. They're only as strong as they are. But if we're all involved and we start asking questions, hey, how come you guys don't have the star tournament ruler on your boat? I don't know anything about it. Well, they will after you're done talking to them. It's up to us to get everybody involved. Every single person that's watching right now, all 68 of you, if you hit the share button, this will help out Chris and Bill and I. It'll help out CCA. It's all about getting the word out. That's what I'm obsessed with. I go to sleep thinking about it. I wake up thinking about it. How can we get more people involved in saving fishing in the state of California? Because we just can't leave it up to these 4 or 5 entities. They're not big enough. We are, though. We the people. We had 900,000 people that bought a fishing license last year, Bill, all involved. We can make a difference.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And really with our star tournament, it's the great way to really get involved with CCA and even be introduced to CCA as well. And a little bit of housekeeping here. We will be distributing measuring devices to the boats and to the landing shortly and all that. And the beauty about it, one thing that I forgot to mention, if you even have last year's device, that still works. That still works this year. You don't even need a new one if you don't want to. But we do have plenty of them at the booth and also in stock as well. And if your local tackle store doesn't have them or landing or whatnot, just get a hold of us. We'd be more than happy to send you one and also restock tackle stores and landings and all that stuff. We just need to know.
And Chris, one of our good friends, Lisa's asking, would it be better to get involved at the PCS show or would it be better just to get involved right now?
Personally, I would probably get involved at the PCS store or PCS show right now online by pre-registering for our show package. Show package is $100. It includes everything you need. All you have to do is basically fill out your info online, pay for it, and then ultimately it'll spit out a QR code on your phone. Show us that QR code. We give you your bag, and it's as simple as that. So you can do both right now online.
And they get into the show for signing up?
Not for getting into the show for signing up.
Okay.
Not this year. We're going to be inside of the show this year.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah.
So that's good to know. So do it now.
Yep. Do it right now.
The show. That's what I wanted to say. There's not going to be a way to get involved outside the show. You're going to have to get in anyway. So you might as well do it now.
Yep. Exactly. Save yourself some time at the booth so you can go run past us to all your favorite retailers and take advantage of all the deals out there.
Go, Bill.
I was just going to say, you can get to Turner's first. Don't have to stop by CCA. Directly from the door to Turner's. Go on and get those deals while you can. But This is a great thing to do. It's great for families and kids. It helps CCA. Overall, it helps our environment. And as CCA, I'm going to be honest with you. Our goal, whether you're in California or one of the, I think it's 22 states, right, Chris, now that CCA has branches in, that we are much more interested in habitat restoration, finfish science, and so forth, helping kids learn to fish, scholarships for young adults who want to be marine biologists. We are much more interested in spending our money on that than we are on fighting on these rules. And we are constantly spending our time, effort, and money on fighting against stuff instead of enhancing our environment. So if we had more resources, if we had more money, we'd have the ability to do much more of that, and especially in California. So we really need everybody's help. Go to ccacalifornia.org, sign up for the package for PCS. It's a great deal. Get you in the contest, makes you a member of CCA, gets you a quarterly magazine, The Tide. It's an absolute bargain in this day and age. Did I mention a hamburger's $27? So go ahead and do it.
Yeah, good point. That the star tournament, gang, the thing about that is when you pull out your measuring device, on it, it's got CCA all over it. It's going to allow you to introduce more people to CCA also. Besides the fact that you got a chance to win a brand new boat, as you open that ruler up, I don't care if you're on the beach, you're on a dock, you're on a sport boat, wherever you're at, when you open that thing up, it's going to bring a lot of interest. People are going to go, what is that? Well, I'm in this tournament. What tournament? The star tournament. What do you mean? It's $40. What do you mean? Yeah, and you can win a boat. I want in. And also you can help us save fishing by being a part of it. It's a win-win-win. It's all about the masses and everybody being involved. For me, that's the key. And we talked about it, Bill, last year so many times.
Mm-hmm.
And so many people, Chris, would say, yeah, I went to the tackle store. They didn't have any rulers.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
Mm-hmm.
if we hit them now, then we all start going in there and asking where the rulers are. Chris is going to be getting a million phone calls from all the tackle people going, I need those rulers. People are here and they want them. That's how we can make a difference, gang, getting involved.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
And if I just add to that, Dave, to all of the folks here who are watching who do go to landings and on party boats and recreational fishing boats and on to tackle shops. When you go into your local tackle shop, please ask them. Just go right up to the counter and say, hey, are you guys involved in the CCA Star Tournament? And if they're not involved in it, feel free to send me an email and let me know what shop that is. But if they're, and I'll be happy to, believe me, I will be happy to talk to them. But also just let them know, I want you to be involved. Can you get information for me? So the next time I come into your store to buy something, there's information here. We really need your help. And really, if you do go out to Bass Pro Shop, your local tackle shop, the landing, you're on the half-day boat, just mention to them, hey, I'm part of CCA, or I want to be. Are you familiar with the Star Tournament? What do I need to do to get that information here to you? And then if you can't do it, or you can't contact Chris, or you can't contact Dave, please send me an email, phone call, text me and say, hey, Bill, I went by this shop. They didn't have it. Can you get them set up? I'd be happy to take care of it.
And Bill, just to kind of add on to that, I can confirm Bass Pro Shop in Irvine does have measuring devices now.
Awesome. Good job, Bass Pro Shop.
Yeah. There's so many good things coming down the pipe because of CCA. And I want you guys to know, you guys get to come up and have dinner with us on May 1st. We kind of talked about it an hour ago, but it's going to be a fun night. I really enjoy seeing everybody when I come up there and hanging out with all the people. And I want to see a bunch of cool new things donated from today's show. And Chris Seawolf keeps asking, do you want a big bull lobster to? Absolutely. There's nothing that he doesn't want donated. He wants everything.
Absolutely.
Yep.
And let's, Chris, if you could just give me a sec, I just want to tell everybody about the facility there and how the whole thing works. First of all, it's so much fun. There's all these different people from the industry. I mean, everything from somebody who makes a swivel to the reel makers, and then anglers and pro anglers are there. So great. Everybody's super nice. So we go there, we have a cocktail party first for that's an hour or so. You get drink tickets. I had a couple drink tickets, but within 20 minutes after mine were gone, I talked a bunch of idiots out of their drink tickets. So I'd had all these great free drinks. So
you were the one.
I'm the one. So you park 100 feet away, roughly, from the front door. They have a multi-level parking lot. It's very convenient. The facility is a block off the 405 freeway at Long Beach Boulevard. It's very easy to find. It's super easy to go into. You come off, you go right into the parking lot. You walk 100 feet to go in. They have this big foyer inside full of cocktails and people, men and women, and people having a great time. And then outside the facility, facility is where our meeting area is, where there's tables outside. It's covered. It's very, very comfortable there. The food is delicious. So I just want everybody to know it's like really easy to attend, super easy to park. Like when you leave, it's 3 minutes, a minute to your car, maybe, 2 minutes, you're on the freeway. It's very convenient. The food is delicious. The camaraderie is great. It's a really neat facility with lots of room and big inside it. And then like you could be like me, you could sit at Dave's table. You can not only see Dave's monkey, but you can see Dave as a monkey. And it's really quite entertaining, all the people that are there, the people that speak. And I really encourage everybody to go. It's not like an elitist thing at all. And like if you're in the industry and you're just starting maybe in the industry, or you're an angler and you want to meet other anglers or people who are at a higher level than you, this is the place to go. You can rub shoulders, you can mingle, you'll make new friends there, and it will really enhance your fishing as time goes on.
Yeah, I mean, you said it perfectly, Bill. I mean, you could rub shoulders with anyone from the higher level execs, the presidents of tackle manufacturers and all that stuff, all the way down to the guides that you've been dreaming of going out with, or even people that you want to ask, expert advice to on any angling skills or anything like that. We sit next to legends like the two on this call right here. It's so many great opportunities to really mingle and get to know everyone in our industry, because a lot of people from our industry, if not all of them, will be at this dinner. And one thing on the venue and all that, it's a beautiful facility. This year we got the grand ballroom over there that I think holds over 400 people or whatnot. We just saw it last week or the week prior, and it's absolutely beautiful. I don't know how a bunch of fishermen being in that room is going to look, but we'll figure that one out. And just last but not least, there may or may not, can't confirm nor deny, there might be an open bar for the first hour, maybe, possibly, but we'll see.
Oh, wow.
But ultimately,
No
guys,
no need
yeah,
to
it's a
steal drink
cannot
tickets.
miss event for sure.
And then something I want to tell you, our sponsor, Okuma, for Wednesday's show, Doug and the gang at Okuma have been huge sponsors of CCA for a very long time. They understand it. And for that, I want to thank everybody at Okuma, because they do so much for our industry and they're very involved in CCA. They will be there. They have a table. The who's who of Okuma will be in the building. You can go over there and talk. You've seen John Brett's on our show many times. He'll be there. His beautiful wife, Michelle, will be there. Doug will be there. So the industry shows up and you guys get to hang out with the industry. You get to have dinner, and then you get to see the auction. And hopefully a lot of you donate. We need donations. We need every single person that's watching to donate. If you know somebody that has anything at all, we could use whatever it is. We're not going to go, we really don't want to carpet someone's house, but no, we do. We want whatever you got, whatever you can donate, we'll take it. And I can't emphasize enough how important it is to get involved.
And emphasize that, Dave. I mean, this year we're going all out on the live auction, the silent auction, and the raffle. We're going to have great raffle prizes as well. Anything from, jewelry to a Blackstone grill to everything in between, to trips, everything that, really you could get on, you can get on fairly easily and also help out a great cause as well. So really, we want to see everyone there. We want to sell out the whole event. It's going to be a great night to, really just kind of fundraise and really just celebrate from our industry, and also celebrate CCA as well. And we can't do it without each and every one of you. So go register right now.
And free cocktails for an hour. That got a lot of people's attention. Don't come hang out with me afterwards, though. You know how much I love people after they drink. That's like one of my favorite things to not do, is hang out. But gang, we're going to be there. It's going to be incredible. This is not the last time you're going to hear about it. You're going to hear about the Star Tournament every single day on the show, like we did last year. Plus, you're going to hear about this fundraiser. And then, Chris, do you have anything else coming up before the PCS show? Is there any events?
So not before the PCS show. We're kind of all hands on deck for that. But I will say PCS show's coming up. Then we're going to be in Bakersfield the weekend after. We'll be at the Ventura show. And then in April, we've got some cool stuff going on. We're actually going to have, it hasn't been announced yet, but I'll let the cat out of the bag here. We're going to have a Anglers Night Out event, which will be hopefully totally free at Bass Pro in Irvine, where we're going to have a great guest speaker. Can't really mention him right now, but we're going to have just a free event, and it will be a mini fundraiser for us, and really just to get everyone out there to the new Bass Pro location. Aside from that, we're going to have a poker tournament. If you're in the Ventura area, we're going to have our poker tournament put on by our Channel Islands chapter at the Channel Islands Yacht Club. Registration for that's on our website as well. Anthony Shea coming up May 1st. The San Diego chapter banquet, which is Apps and Taps, that's May 17th. So a lot of good stuff coming on after the shows and even right at the shows as well. So there's always an event going on every single month. All of those details, great resources, ccacalifornia.org. And like I said, if you want to get involved or want to just help out in the way that you can or that you're willing to, just hit the contact us button and get a hold of us. Dave knows how to get a hold of me, as does Bill. And we're looking forward to a great and very productive 2025.
Absolutely. Isn't it amazing, Chris? Now that we're sitting here, an hour and 10 minutes has gone by and you were like, hey, I can jump on for a few minutes. I don't really have much to say. Here we are, an hour and 10 minutes later, and we can keep going forever, gang. This has been a really good time. If you guys want to hang out for a little bit longer, Bill and I are going to talk about surf fishing a little bit because it's kind of up time to start talking about going fishing. I think we got the point across that we need to save fishing, but now it's time to talk about fishing. If you want to hang out with us, Chris, that's fine. But Bill and I are going to go a little over.
Sounds good.
All right. Sounds good. I actually do have a call that I'm late for, but ultimately it was great being with you guys. I really do appreciate the opportunity, and let's do this again soon.
Whenever you want, you're invited to come on. We love you, man. Thank you very much.
All right.
Absolutely.
Thanks, guys. We can't do it without you both. So thank you, guys.
Thank you, Chris. Mr. Bill Varney. Hello.
I can't believe Chris thanks us. I mean, he's the guy out there taking bullets every day. We're just sitting back in our dreamy homes in the meantime. So good for him. I wanted to also mention to Brent that you did bring up Moss Landing, and although we have not had time to talk about that, we will do our best next week to go over that. There's some really interesting information about what's gone up there, happened up in Moss Landing. And when you look at the history of what's gone up there, it'll really make your head spin and make you think. So we're going to try to cover that next week.
Right. And don't forget the 20% discounts up there on the screen. We'll leave it up there right below Bill's chin for a little while because that's a big deal, gang. The Komodo series reel is an incredible reel, and to save 20% on it, that's better than the discount you're going to get at the PCS show. But you're going to get a great discount at the PCS show because they're going to be giving those rail rods away again, and we'll talk about that as we get closer. But right now, that Komodo series reel for 20% off. Take advantage of it. And if you're watching, I'll put the code up again, or I'll talk about the code in a little bit. But Bill, what's going on? We got swells, we got rain, we got all kinds of crazy stuff happening. But then the weekend, it looks pretty nice. So should we go fishing?
Yeah, well, first of all, on that Komodo reel, now remember on that reel, that is a great reel for bay fishing and particularly good for calico bass fishing at places like Cedros Island, Sacramento Reef, things like that. What a fantastic reel. Those bait fishing reels, they have come so far from when I was, they really didn't come out when I was a kid, but when I was about 20 and we used them for bass fishing, you'd burn that thing up. It gets so hot that you could hold it against your leg and warm you up on a cold day. So, man, they've come a long way.
Yeah.
Surf fishing, well, there's lots of interesting stuff to talk about surf fishing. So, we've had these storms. Today we've got this, storm coming through Southern California. We'll see a progression of 2 or 3 of those over the weekend. But really the big news is where it's been raining hard. So that's like above Santa Barbara, let's say San Luis Obispo North. As predicted, the striper fishing has been phenomenal up there. Really from Halama or Vandenberg Air Force Base. My buddy just sent me a picture this morning of 2 fish over 30 inches, 32 and a 36 incher. He got at Vandenberg Air Force Base where he works for the government up there. So that area north has been absolutely phenomenal for big perch, but lots of striper. So as this rain moves south, we're going to see a little bit over the next couple of days. Looks like at the end of next week from this weekend, a week from Saturday, we're going to see maybe a larger storm come into California, make its way down to Southern California. We're going to start seeing those striper in bigger numbers now around Ventura River mouth, Santa Clara River mouth, Bologna Creek, Del Rey, Palos Verdes Peninsula, Pewater Springs there by the Palos Verdes pool there at Rat Beach. They're going to be there. They're going to be in Huntington Harbor, Newport Harbor, Santa Ana River mouth. All of those spots, once it begins to rain, you're going to see those stripers now. And what we saw, and Dave and I have talked about this before, last year there were a bunch of 20 inchers. The years before that, there were a lot of 10 to 20 inchers. Now we got these 30 plus. Are they going to be 40 plus next summer? I sure hope so. So that's an exciting thing to watch and see what's going on. And then the other thing, really a couple more things. One is that the barred surf perch fishing for these big surf perch, these 13, 14, 15 inchers, has been absolutely phenomenal. There's been a lot of anglers who've caught 20 of them in a day north of Santa Barbara and south of Santa Barbara all the way to San Diego. They've been biting now, and you've got a day where you got 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 of them that are in that big range. And then to accent all of that, from Ventura to San Diego, we've had a bite on Corbina and a couple of really big ones in Orange County, over 20 inches. So surf fishing's been really good. And then Dave, the big news that came out, and this is really indicative of what we're going to see this summer, is sand crabs are already beginning to show up in Huntington Beach. So this is really the beginning of that. This is what we saw last winter. If you guys remember, we had all these Corbina caught during the winter. And I was telling Dave, like, oh, this guy got this big Corbina in January. Wow, I've only seen a couple of those. And then February had them, March had them, April, May, June. And then the summer was really good on Corbina fishing. So surf fishing up and down the California Bight has been phenomenal. And the main reason for that, and these are all of the things that you learn on your saltwater guide on my weekly game plan, is that we have swells coming from the north, we have swells coming from the south. They're meeting in the California Bight, and if you can believe it, Dave, the temperature of the water went up 1 degree last week. When in February, do you remember the water temperature going up?
Right. No, it's crazy. But what's going on is pretty amazing that we got some storms coming this time of the year finally. I mean, it's been a long time since we had any real rain that you can measure. Unfortunately, that urban runoff up there in Santa Monica Bay, that could pose a problem. But as far as the movement of the lobsters in Long Beach, LA Harbor, Bill, it's been changing dramatically. And Justin's sick, but he's going to pull it together, and he's going to run his trips Friday and Saturday night. He put it out. Here's what's amazing about our community. He put it out last night that his trip for Friday canceled. And Lisa and the gang bought all this. The trip's going now Friday. Filled it up in like an hour. Pretty amazing how the community comes together. And I'm super excited about the community. I'm super excited as Bill's bundles for the game plans. It was kind of amazing. It's just growing 3 or 4 or 5 people every month. And people are so excited to be a part of it. And your Zoom meetings and the way you present all the stuff to all the people, and that you take their phone calls and all the things that you do for our members. And now the newsletter coming out to everybody, they love that. People are loving the newsletter, Bill. One thing I want to tell everybody, we've been talking about this. I'm not begging you. I don't care if you do or if you don't, but Kelly just ordered a bunch of clothes today. So we're going to have some different things to look at the PCS show that you can buy online and get them after. But if you don't order today, if you don't order a shirt, a hat, or something from our store today, there's a pretty good chance, I'd almost guarantee you're not going to have it in time for the show. I'm not trying to get you to order the clothes, but all the cool kids at the show are going to be wearing your saltwater guide gear. Remember, if you show up at Dave Farron's booth, the Deckhand Sports booth, you're going to get a free hat. And he's got 2 colors. He's going to give you a hat. Hats right now are $25 to $30 for a hat. Okay. You're going to get a free hat from him. Then you come over to our booth, you're going to get a free hat from Okuma or Promar or Costa. You're going to get to pick out the hat you want from those different sponsors. Okuma kicking down a bunch of hats. Promar's kicking down a bunch of hats. But you got to be wearing our gear. And you're going to go, oh, yeah, Dave talks about this all the time. Well, you'll see when you come to the show, the sea of your saltwater guide clothes that are going to be walking around. I just wanted to throw that out there because I know you guys are going to be bummed because you can't get them in time for the show. I'd say today's the last day. Remember, a month from today, we'll be at the PCS show. We'll be in the building. We'll be doing the show. It's going to be absolutely insane. I'm super excited. Super excited about the whole thing. The community, Bill, don't try to tell everybody that isn't a part of the community what a great feeling it is inside when you read the people that followed your plan and caught those fish, because there's a lot of them.
Oh, it's incredible. I mean, and that is, not only with the Saltwater Guide, but that's a continuation of, what I've done for over a decade, and I love to do, I enjoy doing. And, as you and I have talked, Dave, we give out advice to people about how we can help them become better anglers, or at least have a better shot at it. And they come back and they give us knowledge of things we never even thought of that not only help them become better anglers and help us teach more people, but really help you and me become a better angler too. So it is a symbiotic relationship, and that's what a community, a society, your culture is it's a symbiotic relationship where you learn from one another, you get better at what you do, and you really enjoy spending time together. Because that's just like whether you're at the Fred Hall show or you're at the PCS show or any other show, you're surrounded by people who have the same love and passion for the thing that you like the most. And there's nothing better than being surrounded by people who love to do the same thing that you love to do.
Right, exactly. And it makes us feel so warm and fuzzy every time we log on in the morning and we see more reports from you guys. Oh, it's incredible. And this week on the game, or last week on the game plans, I told everybody how important it is to get your reports in, because there's not a lot of coverage this time of year. For some reason, even though Bill tells you all, and Justin and I and Al and Pablo, we all tell you how good fishing is. For some reason, wintertime, just everybody kind of gets lackadaisical and puts their rods away, but there's no reason to. And I'll tell you what, by mentioning the fact we needed the reports, Bill, they came pouring in this week. It's pretty cool to see all the great reports.
It really is. And it's super helpful. And, from a surf fishing standpoint, well, I think on a boat too, to some extent, but I have a lot of territory to cover from the Mexican border to Santa Barbara about what's going on. And I have guys and gals up and down the coast who are out there once a week, some every day, who send me reports and pictures and information, and I give them info. It's great. Like as a member, I have many people who will say like, hey, Bill, they might just send me a note like, hey, just FYI, I'm going down to such and such a spot tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. And after I get done, I'll let you know. And I'll write back to him, hey, my buddy was just there yesterday morning. Look at what he got. This is what he was using. So it's awesome. All this information in the code group going around, and people catching much more than they would normally and giving up information to help others. It's really a great association to be part of. I'm digging it.
Thank you very much. I'm digging you being a part of it, and all of the guides that are part of this. It just really is taking this thing to a whole different level, and I'm pretty excited about it. Gang, as we cruise along here, we got so many cool things coming up, but Bill Varney, myself, Justin, Pablo, Al, will all be at the booth at the PCS show. So I'm inviting y'all to come by. If you don't know what we're talking about, the PCS show goes off on the 6th, 7th, 8th, and 9th at the Orange County Fairgrounds of March. It's coming right up. It's going to be here faster than you know it. A month away, we'll be at the show. You can get your tickets right now online at the Pacific Coast Sport Fishing Show.com. You can buy them online. I'll also throw a QR code up here real quick. And then one other thing that everyone keeps talking about and sending me messages, I'm not talking about it enough. You can leave stars again. And the last 5 years, that star system on here has been very, very beneficial for your saltwater guide. It's not easy doing a live show set 6 days a week. I'll tell you what, having you guys throw us a little bit of tips every once in a while, it really makes me feel good inside. You can jump on Facebook and you can find the stars button. You can send us some stars. It will help me and Kelly out tremendously. I appreciate everybody that sends us stars. They took that star ability down for a little while, Bill, but now it's back. We've had about 700 stars given to us in the last week, and I want to thank you all very, very much. And it's just going to get better and better like it always does. And we're on our way to another phenomenal year at your Saltwater Guide, and it's because of all the people that are watching every single day. And I hope you're enjoying waking up in the morning every morning and looking at the news and seeing all the wonderful things that Orange Man's doing. Isn't it incredible, the amount of stuff he's done in 2 weeks? They can't even keep up. The left is just losing their minds. He's taken away all the money they've been stealing from us, and they can't handle it. They don't know what to do.
I've got to tell you, I mean, obviously shows, you know, what side I'm on or whatever, but to see the heads exploding and talking about having it coming to you, my Lord. So yeah, and all of these things are going on. There's way more going on than anybody with my mentality can understand. It's full on wide open, and let's hope it all works out well. I did get a kind of a laugh over the fact that we've seen there's all this money, our money, our hard-earned taxpayers' money spent on these crazy things, you know, trans dances in Colombia and all this stuff. And then the people that were supporting that came out and they said, oh, this Elon Musk guy, this unelected official is out there cutting everything. When it's really funny, you look at the list of all the things that were on there, that President Biden wasn't overseeing that. Unelected officials were making those decisions to spend millions and millions, if not billions of US taxpayers' dollars on crazy things from hat dances to God knows what. And they criticize Elon Musk and say he's an unelected official who's saving money when they had an unelected official spending money. So it's pretty comical.
Yeah, it's amazing. Absolutely amazing. Gang, I want to talk about this subject one more time, how important it is for everybody to be involved. I'm not taking people, you may have misunderstood me. I'm not taking anything away from CCA, and I'm not taking away from anything away from the other entities. But I believe in my heart it's time for us to get involved. It's time for us to quit waiting for other people to solve our problems. And our biggest problem right now is they want to take away fishing in California. And it's just super important to me to let you all understand what I'm talking about when I say we need to get involved. And the powers that be on the outside are like, just let it process be the process. Well, gang, I think we can make a big difference if we're all involved. There's nothing's going to make me happier than when Bill and I are sitting there in the waiting room on this Zoom call and we see 30,000 of you. And it's not that hard for 30,000 of us to show up. We get to do it from the comfort of our own home. And Brett, Brett was talking about going. He's up there in that area where Sacramento is. He's down by Monterey by the beach. It's not that far of a drive. Brett, I would be totally stoked if you went to that meeting. And I think if we could grab another 40 or 50 people and we all went, I know that the entities that are trying to save fishing, you guys are going to be there, and I want you to be there, and I want you guys to do what you do there, and I want you to enjoy yourselves, and I want you to be at the meeting, and I want you to get to talk. But it's time for the citizens of California to show that we are sick of these closures. We're tired of it. The 1/10 to 1% of the population gets to make all the decisions. It's crazy. I don't get it.
It makes no sense. I don't really mind the part that there's a small group making a decision. What I do mind is that when they continue to tell us that there is science that backs up their position, but we have no access to the science, we have no time to review the science, we don't have a question and answer period with them and the scientists, it's bogus. And that is what we really need to work on, is like, where is the science? Let's make it transparent. Give us time to review it. Let us run it by the experts, and then let's have a discussion and make a decision. And until we get to that point, this is all one-sided.
Yeah, it's totally one-sided, and there is no science, to be perfectly honest.
Mm-hmm.
There is using a fish count for science is ridiculous. Like I was trying to explain yesterday, there's too many things that can happen that affects that fish count for the day or for the month or for the year. One being the giant, massive sardines. There's no shortage of sardines, gang. I see all these posts too. Oh, the sardines are no, there's no shortage of anything, gang. There's no shortage of anything. You guys all got to remember, whatever you say, they latch on. They latch onto it, and they're going to try to close the sardines, and they're going to try to close the anchovies, and they're going to try to close the tomcod. They're going to try to close the halibut. They're going to close whatever you guys are talking about. So let's try to remember when we're making these horrible, horrible posts on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, or YouTube. And you guys are making some of the most unbelievable posts talking about, I don't even like sand bass. They might as well take them off. Forget the word sand bass. Let's call it fish, period. They want to close fishing, Bill. That's it.
Absolutely. And like you said, Dave, the most effective way is to write, or to, used to be able to leave a message, or in this case, not only write, but be able to go and speak in front of them. And as much as all of us, including myself, want to use the F word,
yeah, you can't.
You can't, because whenever you do any type of, and this is with all negotiations, any type of personal attack on somebody, that you're stupid and blah, 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 here's my point, it just turns off the person from listening. So really the best thing you do is you want to thank the commissioners for the opportunity to speak in front of them. Tell them that you respectfully disagree with their perspective, and this is what you believe in, and that is the proper way to go about it. And although it's not persuasive from the standpoint of you can change somebody's mind overnight, they will know by the thousands of people on the Zoom call, by the hundreds of people who want to speak, by the things that you say when you speak, that I respectfully disagree with you, that there are many, many, many people that you represent, and that they might want to have a second thought about it. They know in the commission, and politicians know, that one person's opinion represents thousands of people with the same opinion. And when they have us just say, well, okay, you can just go with the process, and I thought, at least you didn't go to zero, is fine. It gives them license to continue to close, continue to do the things that they want to do. Whereas when you stand up for what you believe in, and you're not absurd about it, and just say, these are the facts that I believe in, this is the experiences that I've had, that we're not made available the science to review, why don't we have a chance to speak with you or ask you questions? Those are the things that they respect, and they know that you, once again, are indicative of not just one person, but thousands of people in the state who feel the same way, and that's how you should approach it.
Right, and it makes them look over, because when you go, Bill and I talked about this, when you go on this Zoom call, you're going to see the people that are in charge. When we start to talk, they start to look at their phone, they start to go to the bathroom, but if you talk coherently without a bunch of emotion, they stop and they listen. They're like, wait a minute, this isn't what they expected to happen. So be articulate, write down, write down what you're going to say. Bill and I would love to come on the show on Wednesday after it and talk about all the great people that talked on the Zoom call. And Don Brockman and I were talking about it last night. It would be the most incredible thing if 30,000 of us showed up, because they've never seen that before. There's never been any resistance for real, honest to God, resistance of the people. Yeah, CCA and the other entities in the sport fishing industry have showed up to these meetings, but we've never had, if you've ever watched historically any of these events that they allow us to speak at, there really isn't that many people that are involved. Now, during the MPA process, it was the craziest thing you've ever seen. There was no social media coverage back then, but they were bussing in school kids. And they were bussing in these school kids that would take up, all they knew is what their teacher told them to say when they went up there. Most of them never even seen the ocean before, but there would be hundreds of them in line to talk. And we had a very small turnout compared to what they had, because it's about money again. They were able to charter the buses. They were able to take the kids out of school and shove them into these MPAs, and these kids would get up there and speak. They never even seen the ocean before, but they would tell us about all the animals that were in massive peril because Bill and I casted a line off the beach in Laguna.
And you know, Dave, they would take I was part of that entire process. They would take up 2/3 of the seats, and then the department would say, we can't have any more anglers in here. So there was like 75% were people anti-fishing, and everybody else was outside standing in the parking lot. It was ridiculous. We should be the ones with the buses.
Right. Yep. We should be the ones, CCA. We should be funding the heck out of CCA and the other entities that are going to help us to save fishing. But this time, gang, let's just try it different. Let's just all show up. Let's just try it. And if it doesn't work, all right, we'll go back to not showing up to anything and letting someone else control what we do. But I just think it would be cool if we all showed up once. If we just, one time. What's it going to hurt? What's going to be the down? Oh, we all showed up. Darn. Yeah, I think it'd be interesting just to see if we could do it. Believe me, Bill and I will be on that Zoom call, gang. And we'll be taking roll call. We'll see who you know. I'm just teasing. We're not going to do that, but we're going to be on the Zoom call. And I would love to just see 30,000 people waiting, just waiting and listening to the rhetoric coming out of their mouth. Because what we're going to have to do for 90% of me, we're going to have to listen to them talk to us, talk down to us, and tell us about, and Bill and I will sit there with our mouths shut, listening to them tell us about stuff they know nothing about. But yep, let's show up. Let's show up. Let's make a commitment to show up. It's going to be on the 13th, which is coming up sooner than you can imagine. Bill and I are going to have a show Wednesday, the 12th, and then the 13th we'll all be on that Zoom call. We're probably, I'll just tell you right now, because I'm so involved, we're not going to have a show on the 13th. There won't be a podcast because we'll all be on. I don't want anybody to not be on the Zoom call. So while you're hanging out at lunch or whatever, you just click over to the Zoom call. We're all going to be there. And I'll post it over here over and over and over again, the link to the Zoom call, and we'll all try to show up. I just think it'd be fun, right, Bill?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And it'd be really cool is if we could crash the whole meeting. We had so many people on the Zoom call, the whole system crashed. And we have had that happen where they've had to reschedule to work on getting more capacity in order for people to watch. So, and then an interesting thing too is to watch if you go on the commission's site, although you're not on a Zoom call where you can interact, you can watch it there, and it has a shot of the whole room. And over the period of time, especially when they're talking about things you're interested in, watch the behavior of the commissioners. It's really quite interesting. Are they listening? Are they on their phone? Did they just leave their desk to go to the bathroom? Are they having snacks? when they're talking about things that are germane to them, they're all eyes, they're all on it. But when people are talking about things that are uninteresting to them, sometimes they daydream. And I wonder if that's who you want to have representing you, daydreamers.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting. Well, there's no reason to not go fishing. Bill and I are going to put together our game plans for this weekend, gang. Friday's going to be kind of a blow off. It looks pretty gnarly. It's going to be windy and raining. But then Saturday and Sunday, we'll have to see.
Mm-hmm.
It's really going to depend on how much rain actually comes down, because the water could be chocolate brown. This is going to be the first runoff really in a very, very long time, besides the fires. Just one thing I want you to understand, and Bill will talk about it here in a minute, is everything you throw out your car window, everything that goes out your door of your house, everything that hits the ground, it's all going to go to the ocean right now. When we have this rain, it's all going to the ocean. This is what we talk about, urban runoff, all the time. You're going to get to witness it. The ocean turns to it looks like coffee, if you will, with a little creamer in it. It's the craziest thing you've ever seen. When we come out the backside of it, normally it adds so many nutrients to the water that the water becomes crystal clear in April and May, because when we have this runoff. But we haven't never had the entity that we're going to have this time around. We've never burned that many houses. And we've never had that stuff run off. I saw something on the news this morning, though, Bill. Maybe I'm wrong. Well, not the news. I don't watch the news. But on YouTube, I was watching. They put these, what I would almost say like a net system around the Palisades area to catch this stuff. And like a giant filter. Did you see that?
I did. And that we had asked for that. It's rudimentary, but it's a step forward. And the entities that came forward in order to install some of that, in order to catch some of this runoff, were the local colleges. What does that tell you? So, State College in East LA, they came forward, and a couple others. I believe Santa Barbara, UC Santa Barbara may be involved in it also. They have already begun, which thank goodness, they have already begun to do testing of the ocean water in the Santa Monica Pier to Malibu Pier area. So they have a baseline of the water prior to the runoff beginning. So that was very important. And the local, like I said, colleges have stepped up to do that. I wouldn't be surprised if USC's marine biology department's not involved. Cal State is involved, I know. And then hopefully Pepperdine will also be involved in doing some water studies there. So that's a good sign. How much it can, we don't know until it rains, how much that will hold back. But there is a advisory in effect from the Santa Monica Pier to above the Malibu Pier for anglers, surfers, and swimmers and divers to stay out of the water in those areas, and certainly not consume anything from that area from here on out for a considerable amount of time.
Yeah, we're just going to have to see how this thing plays out. So understand that as we go into this game plans, that all of you that are members, our game plans are going to come out tomorrow like normal, but a lot of it's going to be contingent on how much rain we get. It could be a lot of rain they're calling for tomorrow, Thursday, Friday, or they could be not. It all depends on how this jet stream moves down the coast. So we're going to have to play it by ear. Bill and I and Justin and Pablo and Al will put together the best game plans for you. Sunny's area up there to Channel Islands looks like a washout. I don't think there'll be any kind of game plan coming from there. There's a lot of wind involved with this storm. The ocean's going to be a mess up there. So might want to stay away from the Channel Islands this weekend. But it looks like we might have a break in the weather down here on Saturday and Sunday. We'll see.
Yeah, this storm that is brewing and is actually coming to Northern California is a traditional atmospheric river. So everybody's been familiar with those over the last few years here, where they come directly out of the west, right over the Hawaiian Islands, and have a tremendous amount of moisture with them. That is exactly what we're seeing. The question is, how far is that going to sag south? And then the next question after that is over, which I think we're going to be good at. We're going to get some good rain, not too much. That should hopefully be good. And then it looks like early next week it's going to be followed by a mild Santa Ana. So that could set up for some beautiful conditions during the week next week for both offshore and surf-related fishing.
Good. So we just have to play it by ear and see what happens and get ready for whatever's going to happen, gang. I want to thank everybody. Bill, do you got anything else to bring to the people before we sign off?
No, that's it. I just get the heck out there and have some fun between these weather systems. And then once again on this beach stuff, next Wednesday, astronomical tides will happen because of that full moon. And whether you're an angler or not, get down to the beach and check out these awesome jetties with starfish and all these beautiful anemones and different animals at those low tide periods.
Yeah, when I was a kid living up in Dana Point, when it was minus tide, I'd grab my friends, we'd ride our bikes down to Dana Point, and I'd take them down there and show them all the cool stuff that lives in the tide pools. It's so much fun. And
it's so awesome. And like, remember folks, from Torrance Beach all the way to San Pedro, you have all of Palos Verdes and all of those tide pools and miles of incredible tide pools that you can go visit for free. Just look at your tide chart, just find when that low tide's going to be. Go to Lanada Bay, Haggerty's, Wally's. You can go over by Abalone Cove, Portuguese Bend, which they just came out today, said that Portuguese Bend is moving 4 inches a day, which would be, I think, 22 feet a year into the ocean. Go check out these spots. They're free. Your kids will love it. Really fun.
Yep. Thank you all for watching today. That's what we got. That's what we have. You'll see Bill again on Saturday. We'll be doing our morning fish reports. Bill, Al, Justin, Pablo, everybody joins us. We'll have an update on what we think is going to happen Saturday, Sunday. We'll see. Bill, thank you for being with us today. Thanks for jumping in here with helping Chris out with CCA for all the years you did. My hat's off to you and everybody for watching. Thank you very much. I'll see you all tomorrow. Tomorrow, listen to this. We got Roy Rose with us again. Captain Roy's coming on the show. I thought it was kind of appropriate, Bill, because Roy spent how many zillions of days down in Mexico. He's going to talk about how the Royal, when he was running the Royal Polaris and all the other long-range boats that he's worked on, how they can't get away from the sand bass, the barred sand bass. So it's going to be fun to have Roy on here. He's having a great time, and he'll be with us tomorrow. And then we got Heather Smith from Heather Smith Outdoors with us on Friday. She's got a new company, Bill. It's kind of interesting. She's going to explain it all to everybody on Friday, but this is something I'd never heard of. Those of you that own a private boat, her company now is allowing you, it's kind of weird, but you can rent out your private boat to other people. So your private boat that's sitting there making you no money, she has an opportunity with the company she's working with today to rent it out like an Airbnb type of thing where someone else can take your boat and go fishing, or take your boat and go whale watching, or take your boat and go fishing on the lake. And I know there's a lot of people, I don't want anybody on my, that's fine. It's not for you. It's for people that are looking for a way to make money with the boat that, let's be honest, if you have a private boat, it costs you a fortune just to keep it stored, let alone your insurance, and then if you want to use it. So there's an opportunity there. I think it's kind of interesting. I can't wait for her to sit down with us and explain it all to us. Plus, she's always fun to have on the show. She's a great guest. She's been through a lot, being on Naked and Afraid 4 times. Being Naked and Afraid XL, she dominated over there. She's a fun guest, so she'll be with us. So today and tomorrow will be the next 2 days will be phenomenal, not like boring Bill. All right, everybody.